times in life, you ain't got a puncher's chance. Watch me lay these hands like a preacher gained a bunch of fans. Ain't about who the favorite, who the best, they a bunch of stands. Know I'm highly favored cause these fists got me out many jams. They say fight the power, but I got power to fight now. Know we gon' be barking at the way and tell them pipe down. Jab, right hook, uppercut, you see the light now. Now the crowd begging for the KO like right now. Never took an L with my chin up, fold them like a sit-up. This trainer going pops, Craig, get up. Never took an L with my chin up, fold them like a sit-up. This trainer going pops, Craig, get up.
And we are here, episode 5. We made it this far. We had a half episode, episode 5. And of course, this is the Boss and Head podcast. I am your host, CJ. G is not here right now. You know, G got caught up in the middle of that hurricane. So everything's good with him. He's fine. It's just, you know, he's just down right now. So I'll be holding it down for him. And for anybody else who, you know, may have got caught up in a hurricane or anything, much blessings to you, praying for you, and, you know, hope everything goes back to 100%. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this episode, just recently, just to go back, you know, we've been through the 3 commandments of boxing. We've been through, you know, our favorite fighters from each division. We've been through all that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the future of boxing. So the future of boxing, all the top prospects. And what I'll do, I'll name you like my first, well, not my first, but my favorite 2 from the women's division and from the men's division. And a little bit as we go down through this episode, there's going to be some things that I really need to get off my chest because I'm gonna just be real. There's a lot going on in boxing, and not with just the fighters, but just with officials and, you know, just everything within itself. So let's just get started. So future fighters. So these fighters that I'm about to name, I think they really can make a name, you know, in this game in the future. You know, we got our fighters that's leaving, we got fighters that's coming up that's getting old, and, you know, it's time to pass that torch. So usually with fighters, because it really depends, when you like in your 30s, like 32, 33, 34 is kind of pushing it. It really depends on how much damage you've taken throughout the game of boxing. Usually when you hit them 30s, you might want to be looking at your retirement plan. You want to look at which beat you want to put your feet in the sand with, because once you hit them 30s, the clock is ticking. So first fighter we're going to do for the future, like, I think this is probably like my favorite prospect of all boxing. I think he's the future of boxing. Don't know where division or what division he may end up at, but whatever he end up at, I know he's going to dominate. So I know you heard me mention Abdullah Mason. I mention Abdullah Mason all the time. You probably mentioned it more than like once or twice. So this guy is like, he's nice, like defense, punch placement, accuracy, power, like you name it, he has all of it. And like, I feel like he got the tools that is needed for a fighter. So one important thing with fighters that fighters always want to have is that patience. You got to have patience in that ring. So it may be times where you get into a fist fight where you throwing. It doesn't matter with this guy, Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason, it could be a firefight. He gonna keep those hands up. His jab is crazy, and his power and his punch placement is just insane. He had a recent fight against this guy named Louis LeBron that you all probably just seen recently, and he did some amazing stuff. Like he threw a uppercut jab. Like, I know, right? You never heard that before. You probably have, but it was an uppercut jab that hurt him, and he went to the body and came back up with the right hook. And he did all this like in different type of gears. Like, as fighters, as boxers, you'll see throughout boxing, especially for the casual fans or people who just now watching boxing, what you'll do is you'll see which fighters have gear. So you have fighters that have one gear, and you got fighters that have many of gears. So how can you distinguish that? You have fighters basically who really don't have that second gear. You may see a lot of fighters that have a hard time taking a guy out. So say like I'm fighting, I hurt this guy in the sixth round. And I know he hurt, but I just can't get him out of there. Some people just don't have that second gear. But Abdullah Mason has that second gear. He'll slow down, he'll speed up, he'll slow down. Look, I can go all day about this guy. I want you guys to tune in and check out Abdullah Mason. So check out all these fighters, even the ones I don't name. No, even the top 10, the top 10 fighters I'm going to show to you right on this screen. Go ahead and check them out because they all on fire. So I'm done with my Abdullah Mason rant. And by the way, Boxing Head Podcast, no matter win, lose, or draw, there will be no Abdullah Mason criticism. There will be no hate here on this podcast. And if anybody comes on this show and hates on Abdullah Mason, yeah, we're gonna have a debate. So without further ado, I'm gonna move to my next person. Carmel Moulton. So Carmel Moulton, he reminds me of Tate Davis, and ironically, he's coming out of the Floyd Mayweather gym, which is where Tank derived from. I like this kid. Power. He's not scared to stay in that square with you and throw his hands. And once he see you hurt, that's it. It's lights out. You going to the shadow realm, whether you want to go to the shadow realm or whether you don't want to go to, he's going to get you up out of there. So I really like what I'm seeing from him. The only thing I can take from Carmel, I want to see him work on his defense more. So the reason why I say that is like I said last episode, he took a real big hit. His not his last fight because he just fought, but his fight before that, he took a big hit, and he didn't budge at all with it. But you want young fighters like that. You want them to get hit like that because you want to see how they can handle it, and then at the same time, you don't want him taking too many of those shots either because, like I said, it may not hurt, but still, it's doing wear and tear on your body. So that's one guy to look out for. Really look out for him. He's been on the rise. Abdullah Mason's been on the rise as well. Abdullah Mason fights 5 times a year. So if you miss one fight of him, trust me, you're going to see 4 more the same year. Like he's about to fight again in August, and he just literally just fought. So that's just how he goes. So those 2 guys, you guys make sure you stay tuned, and you guys make sure if you ever see their name pop up, you make sure you watch their fight, and make sure you stay in your seat and on your couch too, because you may miss a knockout. Because trust me, it's not going to last long when those guys are in the ring. So y'all make for sure that y'all check those 2 fighters out, Abdullah Mason and Carmel Moulton. Make sure you guys check them out. So I said I had 4, so I'm going to move over to the women's division. So I've been watching this fighter for a while. I think I ran into her just watching a undercard fight, and I ran into her. Her name is Carolyn. Well, I'm sorry, let me get it right for the people in UK. Jump on my head. Is Caroline DuBois. So Caroline DuBois, she is nice. When I mean like nice, like she has that sneaky power. Like you'll see her. She'll be punching, she'll be trading, and then she'll just throw one quick punch, and then you just look and the person's on the ground. Like, not only that, she's a very sweet person. Like I checked out her interview. She's very humble. She's very sweet. She's not she doesn't have the big head or anything. And she's also the IBO champ right now at lightweight. So which is good. And DuBois, the name may sound familiar. Her brother is actually Daniel DuBois. Daniel DuBois will be fighting Anthony Joshua for the IBF for the heavyweight. So, you got boxers that's in the family, and they both good too. They both good, but I really kept my eyes on her. Plus, she wears my favorite color, purple and gold. My fraternity colors as well. So, I always gotta do that. So, I always gotta represent when I see them colors. So, that's one person that I want you guys to check out. You may check her out on the Zone or PBC, but make sure when you see her name, make sure you watch it and make sure you sit down because, like I said, with the other 2 fighters, it's not gonna last long. It's gonna be real quick, and you may blink your eye, you may look on your phone and it's just gonna be done. So just watch it when you see her in the ring. Another person that I want to talk about too is Gabriella Fundora. Now, the Funduras, I know that name sounds familiar. This is Sebastian Fundura's sister, and she is like she's like that for real. So I caught one of her fights, and she's 5'9", so she's tall just like him, because Fundura is up there at 6'6", 6'7". So they're both tall. So she's tall, so she's about 5'9", and her reach and her punch placement is just like incredible. Like it's incredible. Like whenever she throws a punch, is going to touch you exactly where she wanted to touch you at. It don't matter if your gloves is up like this, you can be like this. It don't matter. She gonna somehow, some way, she gonna get to that chin. Um, she's also a champ as well at flyweight. So, congrats to her on being the champ. But those are my top four that I just I want you guys just to look at. It's not more so. I'm not ranking them like they're better or anything, but I just threw those names out there so you guys can just go ahead and check them out and see what they up to. And not only that, like even the fighters I just named, it may not be your favorite fighters. It may not be, but I want you to go and look at all the top prospects that's coming up, especially if you one of them people like, oh, you know what? I don't like where Boston is at right now, or you don't like the fighters that's fighting right now. Well, you can move along to the future, and check out those future guys that's coming up. So and future women as well that's coming up. So um, don't tell me I didn't warn you. So when you see them come up, just remember that CJ from the Boxing Head podcast told you about them, and y'all make sure y'all check them out. But before we get to the second half of this, wanted to get my future fighters out the way, and I wanted to just throw that exposure out because these fighters need exposure, and you for sure gonna see a KO. But before we get back here, we're gonna take a commercial break and give a shout out to our sponsors.
Summer's almost here, and you still haven't did that spring cleaning? No need to worry. Golden Touch Premium Service and Sanitation will take care of everything, from cars, homes, even buildings. And check this out. All products are eco-friendly. So go ahead and go on the website and book an appointment, or if you have further concerns and questions, go ahead and send an email. Clean, it's just Golden Touch away. The secret is out. Everyone is using Potty products. Potty products toilet paper is 2-ply and has 450 sheets per roll, and it won't clog your toilet because it's septic safe. You can get same day, next day delivery, or shipping when you log on and place an order at potty-products.com. Spend $48 and get free shipping, or subscribe on the site and get free monthly shipping. Remember to use Potty products.
Alrighty, we are back, and like I always say, if you have a business, go ahead and email us at boxingheadsllc@gmail.com. And just in case you forgot, we are on the Resilient Stream Radio YouTube channel. If you like music or anything, or well, not just any type of music, but just variety of music, make sure you download that Resilient Radio app, or you go to the website www.resilientradio.net. And what I mean by variety of music, I know y'all like, yeah, he always tell us about this app and about this music. Like, trust me, like it's different variety of music from country all the way down to everything. And Resilient J, who spins it from 4 to 7 p.m. every Friday, he has different like things that he does. So say like there's an artist's birthday, say like there's an appreciation or a birthday, he will do a full segment of any artist. Say like they passed away, they got a birthday, he'll do a full segment of just music just for that artist. So stay tuned for that because he always has something going on with it. So without further ado, you see I took my gloves off because we have some things that we have to talk about. So this month of boxing has been fairly interesting, and there's some things that needs to come to light, and I feel like I can talk a little bit about it because I've experienced it, but I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson. So He recently just had a fight against Artem Count Dracula. I call him Count Dracula because he looked just like Count Dracula. So I'm gonna call Artem Count Dracula. He had a fight and people weren't pleased. So he's been facing a lot of backlash. But let me rewind back. Let me go back. So Shakur Stevenson did not re-sign with Top Rank. With that being said, you have to really pay attention to the actual business of boxing too. Like when usually fighters break ties with like a promotion company or they're not seeing eye to eye, sometimes crazy stuff starts to happen. Crazy stuff starts to happen. And before I go too far, let me bring everybody right back. So this Shakur Stevenson fight was one that everybody wanted to see because for one, Shakur is very notorious and well known for going on Twitter and just saying anything that he wants to say. If he doesn't have a fight coming up, he's usually on there talking about another fighter who's fought and how they fought, and so forth and so forth. So when his fight was finally announced a few months back, you know, he went ahead and, he talked this mess. He said he's going to knock this guy out. So when the fight happened, it didn't happen the way that he said it was going to happen. His last fight against Edwin De Los Santos was a fight that nobody liked because they felt like he ran around the ring. Now, everybody knows that boxing is it's a sweet science, it's entertainment, is everything all in one. So Shakur Stevenson's downfall is not his fight that just happened because he did good. I mean, he didn't get the knockout or anything, but for the most part, he fought good. And if you watch Shakur Stevenson, he's very defensively disciplined in that ring. Like he does not want to get hit. So a lot of, that ruffle a lot of feathers with a lot of people because when you have people that come to the arena and see you and all that, they don't care about defense. They want to see somebody go to the shadow round so they can talk about it. So with this with this fight, it didn't happen the way that he said it was going to happen, and he faced a lot of backlash. And even during the fight, they went so far as the commentators talking about, they're they was making jokes about this fight being boring. Top Rank even showed the people leaving the audience when it was the beginning of the 12th round, and that's just the way boxing is. People, like, boxing is a dirty game, and I'm here to tell you, it's a dirty game. Um, Top Rank like, hey, Shakur cutting ties with us. All right, we'll leave him something to remember us by. And that's exactly what they did. They put the cameras on people leaving out and everything. But I want people to pay attention to just social media and boxing and just all in one. You have to be like mindful of the things you put on social media, because one thing about social media, they will hold you accountable for exactly what you said, and they remember everything. They got screenshots is like probably like the greatest invention, right, that nobody has ever even mentioned. But screenshots, people got screenshots. So when this fight happened and he didn't do it, he got a lot of backlash because he always talk on Twitter of what he's going to do, and what he's how you gonna knock this person out. So he's just been on a rampage lately about, he's still good, and people are hating on him and things like that. I want to say this: Shakur is a good fighter. Um, Give him a chance. Watch his next fight. If you have a next fight, watch his next fight. He's a good fighter. Me personally, I think he should stay off of social media too much because you get caught up in talking to people who not even a real person. you got you got fake accounts that's made. You got all types of stuff out there, and you find yourself in a loophole of arguments of people that you don't even know, and they don't even know you. And half of these people ain't never been in a ring before. Not taking anything away from anybody who hasn't been in a ring, but when you're very adamant about critiquing somebody on a skill in the ring and you haven't been, you kind of got to sit that one out. So I think Shakur should keep those things in mind. I think all fighters should keep in mind to do not take social media serious. Don't take it serious because guess what? You hot today, you can you can be a bum tomorrow, you could be boring today, you can be entertaining the next day. Social media goes however the water goes, however everything floats, that's how social media goes. And for all fighters out there, even content creators, just anybody, don't take social media serious. Shakur, if you see this one day or if you see this, don't take social media serious. I would like for you to stay off as much as you can and just stay focused. But I just do the podcast. So got that off my chest. So this one I really want to talk about because it was on the same card as Shakur Stevenson's card. You had Oshaki Foster versus Robeson Conceição. And this fight was crazy because Oshaki Foster beat Robeson for 11 rounds. So I scored the round 11-1. Robeson only got one round. And they end up giving it to Robeson. The judges on the scorecards messed it up. Let me tell y'all something. Judges, officials, and everything, there is some corruption in boxing, and there is an issue in boxing when it comes to officials. CJ, how do you know that? Listen, so a lot of y'all don't know. Way before I started this podcast, I used to judge fights. I was an actual official for the USA boxing. I was a legit official, so I was judging tournaments, the Golden Gloves. I remember I was an apprentice at this time, and I was mirroring this judge. I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but so it's a 3-round bout, and it's two ladies. So he tells me like, "Hey, I've been knowing this girl right here. I've been knowing her since she was 6 years old." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm watching the fight because as an apprentice, I'm judging the fight for myself, and then what I'll do after I judge, I'll ask him like, "Hey, what did you have that round?" So the one he said he knew since she was 6 years old, she lost that first round. So I gave the other fighter 10, and then the person that he knew 9. So I asked him like, "Yeah, so what you have for that?" He said, "Oh, I gave my friend 10 and I gave the other one 9." So I was like, "All right, I guess, I guess." And the second round came and it wasn't even close. Second round came, the other girl for sure won that round. So I asked him again. I said, "Hey, what you have that round?" He was like, "Oh, I got my friend again." So I was like, and literally that third round, he gave it to her again, and she lost that one by a landslide. She didn't get knocked down on him, but she lost. And he gave it to her again. And when they called the winner of the fight, his friend that he knew won the fight, and the crowd went crazy. And I couldn't believe it that I witnessed robbery right sitting next to this judge, and I witnessed him rob. And he was like, "Hey," he had no doubts about it. He had no issues with it. He was like, "Hey, I had her winning." And that's when I knew that it's a big problem in boxing. See, you got these judges right now who judge these big fights that don't even need to be judging these fights. Like you got people who've been judging amateur fights and being a rep for fights for like over 20 years, and they never got an opportunity to judge an actual official fight that you can watch on TV. And one thing that I learned is about who you know to get to those spots. But I kind of wonder, like, why are these people picked? I feel like these judges, when they judge fights so off like that, I feel like they should be investigated. half the time is drug up under the rug, and then they move on to the next one. These judges, they need to be evaluated. They need to go through their clinic class again and learn everything again and retake the test again. There should be a whole process when judges score crazy fights like this, because for the Oshaki Foster and Roberson Conceição fight, like I told y'all, it was 11-1 Oshaki Foster. One of the judges had it 116 to 112 Roberson. That's insane. And I feel like it's something that needs to be done about that. Like, you got so many judges, so many good judges, and so many good like refs that just never had an opportunity to judge professionally. Give them a chance. Like, give them a shot. Like, half the time, like with USA boxing, the judges, the people who do the gloves table, who do the clinic, who checks the fighters physical and everything else like that and paperwork, they don't get paid nothing at all. But you got people who are judging and reffing these fights, and they getting paid to throw off the fights. I really feel like something needs to be done about this, and I feel like the door of opportunity should be open for all officials to get a shot. I can name a few here, great officials. They ain't never got no shot, and I guarantee you, if they did get a shot at judging or repping a professional fight, they'll do great at it. And I feel like it's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's is it is. You got these fighters, they train, they prepare for this fight, they do everything they can, and they get in this ring. They do everything that their trainer told them to do, plus more. They look flawless in the ring, and you can still lose. Tell me what fun is that? That can take the love out of boxing out of anybody. Imagine you in camp, running up mountains, doing all types of stuff to get ready for this fight, studying, listening to your trainer. Y'all prepped everything. You get in that ring and you do everything that you need to do just for them to say you lost. Something needs to happen. And I can go all on and on all day about this. I really feel like it's an issue, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, because I've seen it so many times in boxing, and these people, they'll judge a fight off, they'll get criticized for about 2 days, and people act like it's just been forgotten. So I really feel like something needs to be happening. They need to evaluate these people, go under investigation. They need to go through a whole process. Hey, bring the lie detector test in, because some of them got favorite fighters that they judge and they give it to their favorite fighter. It needs to be an evaluation. And maybe it could be like this. Okay, there's an investigation, a lie detector test. All right, once you pass that, we're going to have you take the test again so you can know, so we can see if you actually know how to judge a fight. Because there's certain things you look for when you judge a fight. And certain judges look for certain things when judging a fight. That's why you get some crazy lopsided scores sometimes, because some of them veer away from the handbook that explains what you look for, and they look for their own self. So that's enough of my soapbox, right? Y'all like, be quiet. But all I'm saying is officials need to be evaluated when they rob fighters of winning a fight. And that was just a straight up rob. It was kind of like Oshaki Foster versus Roberson Conceição. It was like, say like you got 10 brothers, right? And you the oldest, and you fighting your brother who was number 9. This is like close to the baby. And like, it's a big age difference, and he's swinging, and you're just moving out the way, and you just keep hitting him, and he's swinging, and you're moving out. He's not touching you, but you're touching him. That's exactly how the fight was, and the fight went to the other person who barely got a hit in. Look, all I'm saying is there needs to be a change in boxing. So with that being said, I ain't gonna talk y'all ear off. Of course, this is CJ. This is the Boxing Head Podcast. Keep it boxing, keep it fair, and keep it in the square circle. I'm out.
If you taking jabs in life, you ain't got a puncher's chance. Watch me lay these hands like a preacher gained a bunch of fans. Ain't about who the favorite, who the best, they a bunch of stands. Know I'm highly favored cause these fists got me out mini jam. They say fight the